What's up, guys? Welcome to our family channel. This is Josiah. I'm Jasmine, and my husband, he's currently at work right now. His name's Chris. He will be in our future videos, but today's just gonna be us. So today I'm gonna be talking about how I found out I was pregnant at 17, how we told our families, and pretty much how I dealt with it, you know, being by myself while he was deployed. So before I get into it, I'm gonna start with the backstory. He took leave in the summer of 2017. I had missed a couple pills. I think before he had, literally like a week before he had came home. And I was just like, oh, no worries, like I'll double up and I'm not that fertile, so I'll be okay. So he's here, where everything's going good between us. And then right before he leaves, we actually get into a really bad argument and we ended up breaking up. And I started noticing that I'm starting to have like weird symptoms. My stomach starts hurting a lot. I start getting really bad headaches. And in the mornings, I'm noticing that I can't really eat. I'm very nauseous, and I'm just like, oh no, like this isn't it. Like, no, this can't. I'm not pregnant. So I went and bought a pregnancy test just to make sure, because I overthink a lot. So I bought one and I took it and actually said negative. So I was like, okay, I'm fine, like whatever. I don't know what's going on with me. And the symptoms actually keep going, and they actually start getting a little bit stronger, and I'm like freaking out. So I tell his sister, I'm like, hey Rosa, like I may or may not be pregnant, like what do I do? And then she's actually been wanting a niece or nephew from her brother, so she was kind of excited to actually hear that. She was like, okay, well, like hurry up, take it, like take another one, let's find out and stuff. During this time, my husband's actually hitting me back up because he misses me, like I knew he would. But he misses me, he's trying to get back with me, all this stuff. And yeah, so I was like, okay. So I ended up taking the other test. And I don't know why, but this time I was so nervous. So I went in the bathroom, I took it, and I just left it there for 3 minutes. And I started praying, and I was like, you know what, Lord, if this is how my life is supposed to turn out, then I'll be fine with that. Like, it's whatever. Honestly, it's whatever you want. It's up to you. And I go back in the bathroom, and I look, and it says positive, and I'm just like, I'm in shock, and I'm just standing there for like, maybe it felt like forever, but I think it was only like 10 seconds. I immediately call my husband, and I just start crying. As soon as I hear his voice, I start crying and crying and crying. He's like, what? Like, what did it say? Like, why are you crying? And I just kept crying and crying and crying, and then finally I was like, it said yes, I'm pregnant. And he took it actually very well. He took it better than I did. He was actually so happy, all this stuff. And the reason why I wasn't happy the moment that I found out, because me and him, we weren't together, and that's not what I wanted. Like, when I got pregnant, I wanted to either be married or actually be with the person that I got pregnant with, and that wasn't the case for us at the time. I was upset. I was not happy at all. I was just like, oh my gosh. And then so I hung up with him, and I was talking to his sister, and she was so excited. Yeah, she was so excited, and it kind of made me feel a little bit better. But I was like, what do I do? Like, 17. And then she told me, I had to make an appointment, and that everything was basically gonna be okay. So me and my husband started talking, and he actually decides he wants to tell his parents that same day. And I was just like, no, like, let's wait. Like, we just found out we're pregnant. Like, I can handle like telling our parents, like, what is wrong with you? And he was like, nah, like, we'll be fine. Like, let's hurry up and tell them. I was like, oh my gosh. He told his parents, and he told me kind of like what they said. I don't remember what his dad said, but I know his mom was very disappointed in us. We're actually very, very close. So it kind of like hurt me that she was disappointed, but we understood why she was disappointed. She actually didn't talk to us after we told her for like a couple days, and we're just like, you know what, like, it's fine. Like, she'll come around and, you know, we'll give her time and her space to, you know, take in that she's gonna have another grandbaby and that it's from us, like, you know. So then, like, the whole month goes by and I'm like, okay, like, I'm dreading telling my parents. I'm like, I have to tell them. My mom, before I even told her, she was asking me a lot of questions. Like, I was so tired every day. I would, like, sleep. I slept, I think, the most I've ever slept in my life when I was first pregnant. She would ask me, she was like, why are you so tired? Like, what's wrong with you? Or, like, why aren't you eating? Like, you're starting to look sick. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, she knows. Like, I wanted her to be like, you're pregnant, huh? So I didn't have to tell her, but she just wouldn't. She was just like, what's wrong with you? Like, you know, I was like, nothing. Like, I don't know. Leave me alone. And so I ended up telling her, like, at the end of the month. My parents are separated, but I wanted them to find out kind of like the same time, so one parent didn't feel like, oh my gosh, like I was the last to know. So I told my mom first because I live with her. My sister actually helped me because, you know, just in case anything went down between us, she was there to stop it or whatever. But we actually go to my mom's room together and we're like, you know what, we have to talk to you. And my mom, she's kind of like scared. She's like, what the heck are you guys gonna tell me? I could tell she's nervous. And then I'm not gonna lie, I started crying when I tried to tell her. And then she starts crying. I'm like, Mom, I'm pregnant. And, you know, she starts crying and we're both crying and we're hugging. And I never hugged my mom, so it was a little weird for me. But, you know, we're crying and we're hugging. She actually took it better than I thought she would. She was telling me, you know what, everything's gonna be okay. Like, I'm gonna be here with you to help you and all this stuff. I thought she was gonna rip my head off or something when I told her, but she didn't. And actually, I'm thankful for how she took it because, you know, if she would have kicked me out, if she would have, you know, never talked to me again, like, that would have been tough on me. And then we actually drive to my dad's house. And the whole time I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. Like, what is he gonna say? Like, he's gonna yell at me. And we actually get to his house. Me and my sister are like, you know, we have to tell you something. He's just like, what? Like, what do you have to tell me? Like, hurry up and tell me. And I'm nervous. Like, we're both so nervous. She's not the one that's pregnant, but she's nervous too. And we're kind of just like looking at each other. And he's like, let me guess, when you guys are pregnant. And I immediately look at my sister. And my dad turned to her and he's like, you're pregnant? And then she's like, I'm not the one that's pregnant. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, you didn't. And then he looks at me. He's like, are you pregnant? And I was just like, yeah. And he kind of just sat there for a little bit. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, please just say something, you know. But he was actually very calm. He basically told me that I couldn't be a kid no more. Like, I had to grow up. My husband had to grow up. Like, we had to, you know, we had a baby to take care of now. And it's not fun and games. It's serious and stuff. So I'm actually very thankful that they both took it better than I expected. Because I was expecting the worst. But they actually supported me. And, you know, that made it better on me. My dad, he was actually kind of happy because this is going to be his first grandbaby. He didn't show it to me, but I already knew. He was kind of like, oh, you know, yeah, like having a grandbaby. We had told my parents, we decided to tell social media and everyone else that we were having a baby. And I was still in high school at the time. The high school I was going to, I mean, it's kind of judgmental. I mean, like, someone's pregnant, everyone talks about it. Like, everyone looks at you dirty. And I was just like, you know what? I mean, I'm having a baby. I don't care. Like, it is what it is. The next day that I went to school, I was getting dirty looks and I heard whispers. Like, I already knew all that stuff was going to happen. I ended up actually switching to a continuation school, not because of all the stuff that was going on, but because I was due in April. And if I would have stayed at my high school, I wouldn't have graduated until May. And I didn't want to have to put my baby in daycare or have someone else watch my baby, you know, when it's my responsibility. And I actually graduated I actually graduated the week that I gave birth. That is a funny story. It's not a funny story, but it's a crazy story, and that will be in my next video, in my labor and delivery story. But yeah, so I had to spend, you know, every moment with my baby since he was born. I didn't have to worry about going to school, finding a babysitter, or anything like that. So it actually worked out perfectly. You know, he finds out he's getting deployed shortly after that we find out that we're pregnant, we're having a baby. And that was tough. I think it was very stressful on both of us because for me, you know, I was carrying his baby. I was so emotional and I didn't have anyone there really for me besides my family, his family, but it's not the same as when it's your spouse with you. I didn't get the experience that others get when, you know, they have their husband, their boyfriend, whatever with them. I was by myself, but we made it work. We FaceTimed every day. We talked on the phone. He got to talk to my son Josiah all the time. Thankfully, my mother-in-law, she went with me to every doctor's appointment, so I wasn't alone. For the majority of my pregnancy, it was actually really good. I actually didn't start showing until I was like maybe 5 months. That's pretty much the end of my basically story time of when I was pregnant at 17. But help a girl out, you know, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for the next video.